inconsistent. We've seen great highs, but also some great lows.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's how we end up getting to this point here, where both of these teams who we had higher expectations for going into the season are 2 and 3 at the moment here. You look at these rosters individually, and you especially see the individual plays that all these players are able to do in lane and even out of lane. You think to yourselves, okay, these teams should definitely be having it a little more together than we expect, especially Karmine Corp, who was so hyped going into this split here overall. But as time goes on, I think we still have a handful of weeks left in the split. I think 6 more weeks after this one. So there's still time for both of these teams to find their footing. And I think that's what we need to be seeing from them here. Both of them just getting a better idea on what their team identity needs to be and how they're going to play for it.
Absolutely the case. And while we take a look at the bans, Twisted Fade, we'll get Sakin's Rise, of course, out here. A lot of bans over to him. 113 is Diana. On the other hand, we got the Jinx, Victor, and Xin Zhao. And the first pick going over to the Corki. We saw it in the last game. It didn't win, but still very powerful pick.
Absolutely. I mean, the package is so good around the objective fight. If you go the full AP build, you do get a lot of poke with those Excalibur rockets as well. It's definitely nothing to sneeze at here.
Oh, yeah. They start to poke you out quite a bit. And now it looks like I was going to have a big conversation about Keo because he struggled yesterday in lane, right?
Yeah.
He did get solo killed twice on the Jax up against Bad Lulu. I think one of the top prospects here in the LFL without a doubt. Might have the most solo kills out of any other solo laner. Vision stat, that's right. I'm glad you're catching on.
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll see him on the Ore now where he can be a little safer. If he does die, does fall behind, it's okay because it's all about setting up the team for the team fights with the engage.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of like that Solary are just so happy to take it right away. Again, we talked about earlier on when I was casting with Ravish and how honestly, if you're not going to pick it on first rotation on red side, a lot of teams I think are going to start to ban the Ornn on red side. They take it right away onto just so one, you give Keo, didn't have such a great game yesterday, an easy matchup just because of the fact that, I mean, Ornn's the safest blind pick there is at the moment here on the patch, but that's why Cavo Shard, we were wondering if he played the GP going into this match. Well, I think he's going to pull it out.
He's going to pull it out for us. Picking up the GP, it's been so strong, especially when you're left alone on the island, which in some cases top lane is. So we'll see how that goes, but we are going to get the potential Viego Lee Sin matchup. And, you know, it's interesting. We saw 113 on the Lee Sin yesterday. He got counter-gated a couple times. Things were not going his way. And it did really feel like he was struggling. And we saw that throughout last week as well on the Diana. Unable to really find that, I guess, success in the early game that he's used to finding. But going back to Viego, I think he played it throughout week 1. He did look solid on it. So we'll see if he can find that performance here again for week 3, day 2.
Yeah, and I'm looking on Solary's side. Now that we're seeing Joko, a jungler, another strong early game jungler who we know really performs on these picks, like the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao, the J4, and all of that, to make plays onto that top lane. Because the big mistake we saw yesterday in the game, I believe it was the last game we casted with...
Game Ward Misfits?
Yeah, and I believe because there was the GP in the top lane who got the Ornn matchup and was left to farm forever. Very little jungle attention on the top side, and it's one thing to get a safe top lane matchup where you end up sacking the laning phase. You just gotta understand, you can't sack into gangplank.
Yeah, gets the additional gold too on the barrels, right? Like he's getting more gold than you through every single wave as long as he's using the barrels. So if he's left alone, it could be fairly dangerous as the game goes later here for Solary. But either way, phase 2 bans have come through. Kassadin and a Syndra ban thrown at Scarlet, rightly so for the Kassadin. We've seen that man do work. And the Ezreal and Lucian, so a bit of pinching, of course, over to Reckless. Some of his comfort champions are taken off the board a little bit here as well, so might have to dig a little deeper into that pocket for whatever AD carry he wants to pick up. But you know what they didn't ban? They didn't ban the Xerath here, beatdown.
That's right. I mean, this is the Scarlet special here. It's good for range, it's good for poke. Insane wave clear in the earlier parts of the game. Like, this is kind of the perfect answer, similar to Syndra in the sense that you're gonna probably have a good time laning against Corki early on, and you do have that insane wave clear and CC potential that you can play for here. So I like this pick ultimately. And when you think about the front to back that Solary are going for overall with the Ornn, dude, the right of the Arcane, the ability to just throw all this damage out there, it's beautiful. Were you talking about the...
I was talking about the feeling.
I thought you were talking to me. I was like, all right, Austin, I'll tell you.
No, I was kind of alluding to this Tristana. This is a Reckless classic. I mean, hold up. Let's go, okay. It's the Tristana coming in, and then it's Antera's Bard coming in. We saw the Bard, I think, once so far in the league. It was played by Enjawave. It did not find a ton of success, but there were a couple of big tempered fates. We'll likely see that here again because there is a lot of champions where you could stop the ultimate from coming through completely here, B-Town, or you could set up for a lot of big kills on just carries who can only really flash away from it, or Gale Force, of course, if Jhin ends up picking it up.
Yeah, so this is an interesting draft we're seeing here for KC. My immediate go-to when I see teams that are struggling staying inconsistent, trying to find their footing, is front-to-back team comps. You know, tanks in the front, DPS in the back. You just ride that all the way to the enemy nexus. But K-Corp don't agree. They have a good fair amount of DPS, but it isn't the standard front-to-back. There's definitely a very high execution sort of composition here that we are seeing.
And here we go, ladies and gents. Karmine Corp up against Solary to see who's going to be able to find the big dub here in week 3, day number 2. A lot of different champions coming in. Scarlet back on the Xerath. I think he was one of the first people to bring out the Xerath here at Beatdown. So we'll see if Seiken, who has also had a couple of fumbles here and there throughout the weeks, will be able to go toe-to-toe with him in the lane.
That's right. I mean, Seiken, known for the AD picks, the melee champions, and of course the Rise and some of his control mage picks. Less so on the Corki, but I mean, it's got to be in his wheelhouse. And of course, it being so strong makes it a must-grab for K-Corp. And speaking of must-grab, we got a must-make play here in the bottom lane from KC, whose early game I was talking about wouldn't be as impactful.
Oh, the timing here is interesting. They're going for an invade, and they're going to find every single player here in the bot lane in the jungle on the blue buff. So here we go. Who's going to be able to find that first move? It is a Q start for Joko as they're going to start up on the blue buff. It is going to be aggroed back and forth. Joko might just go and turn to his wolves. 1-1-3. Can't stay on the blue. It's going to reset, but the bot lane is still here. He wants it, and this has happened before to KC where they want to go for the invade, but the bot lane is forced to go over to the lane so that they can catch the XP, and now it's another slow start here for 1-1-3.
You know what? I have a feeling part of the read is because you have Azan steal back a lane they play to a lot on this side here of Solary. You're kind of thinking, okay, Joko likely going to either solo start or get a leash on that red buff on the top side of the map. I think that's what they're banking for. He says, all right, boys, come give me a quick little leash, and then you can just go back to the bottom lane. But it doesn't end up panning out. Already Viego, whose early wave clear is not so good, does end up getting halted a little bit. Now he has to start up on the Raptors, and is just going to ignore his bottom side of the map for the moment, just farm upwards.
No lethal tempo coming through here for Reckless, opting in for the Hail of Blades, and well, if you're able to get the charge on, you get the autos off very quickly with the help of the Q. So a lot of damage can be done. Again, a lot of pressure on Reckless, who feels like he hasn't exactly had the impact that I think a lot of the fans were expecting coming into the LFL, but that is not to count him out by any means. They're still very early into the spring split. A lot can change, and it does feel like KC have been willing to at least be flexible with a lot of their drafts and try a lot of things out here, but going back to the basics somewhat with a double AD carry composition and some engage.
And ultimately now we have both junglers on this top side of the map. You got to imagine, I think that's why 1-1-3 has switched up his pathing a little bit, is going to clear his top side, then go back to the bottom side, because he knows Joko would otherwise have an angle to invade him. So he might go for this top Scuttle Crab, but I have a feeling he's just going to go down to his red buff. Again, 1-1-3 on this Viego. Only looking to farm, get that first full clear. I guess he'll get a Scuttle Crab and then just look for the reset, get back on the map. Joko, on the other hand, he's got options.
He does. One of those options might be top-side, but might be the Krug first. So maybe a double grabber here early for the 1-1-3, but first he's going to say hello to Scarlet.
Oh, nice stun.
Locks him up, but he might be able to still land the root. Is he going to be okay? Has the flash, and he uses it late, so does manage to escape, and you get the flash off of Scarlet early.
I do like that. He tried to hold it as long as he could possibly do so, but he had to let it go, otherwise he was going to fall. It's good pressure into the mid lane. This is what I mean by good angles for this Viego. You get a chance to walk in lane, try and put some damage in with the stun, you force out a summoner spell. Now Scarlet, even though he plays at range really well as Xerath, he's got to be careful for these next couple of minutes, just because of the fact that the very same thing could happen again. 1-1-3 says, hey, bud, you know, it's been a while since I've seen you. You still got that flash?
Yeah, you're definitely expecting a return, and I mean, the beauty of that too is Antera can set up a lot of plays, you know, with the portals coming through from just awkward angles, even through mid. You can use them through some of the terrain there to be able to get on top of them, and, well, setting that up and coordinating it with 1-1-3 might be the play going forward. Joko, though, is going to be back out on the map first, which means that he will have a pickaxe advantage over 1-1-3, who will probably be looking for a reset, and they're pinging that he's on the top side here, so we'll see exactly what ends up happening. Looks like resets across the board. I imagine that it will be Steelback who's just going to have to collect the majority of this wave here, as it's going to miss out on a bit of farm.
And I like it. That play, that switch up in jungle pathing for 1-1-3 at least pays off in that regard. Joko a little unsure about where he might be, unless he's saying he's going to be there in about a minute's time, because that's where he's walking. Ultimately, that early pressure you have for yourself, this bot timing for Reckless and Huntera is actually the perfect time to punish and go ahead and take Dragon #1. Azan Steelback, they're still going to be here in lane pushing out the spot lane.
Joko is going to take this Window of opportunity to try and slow down the Dragon at level 4, and this should go uncontested. Ontaro's nowhere close to be able to drop some vision down. Pings are coming through that the bot lane is missing, and well, that should probably signal that, yeah, the Dragon is currently being taken, but it will now be secured. So Joko already getting active as he secures the first neutral objective.
It's perfect. Using your early pressure really well, and you're also setting up yourself for success later on into the game. When we get to major objective fights, fighting in the river, fighting in the chokes, that's what Solary wants to do because their big boy Ornn Keo in the top lane, that's what he wants them to do. So in doing so, you do manage to be able to force KC into these situations where it's like, okay, if we let them dragon stack, we're going to have to walk into them. We're going to have to fight them. And, well, I don't really like that, especially Cabochard in this GP. I don't like walking into people. I want them to come to me.
Certainly. Huntera has made an appearance over and made sure that Seiken is going to be safe and sound. Scarlet, of course, just on the back foot for the time being, but he is Zerat, so he can farm from afar and should be fine as the wave is pushing into him. But we'll continue to see probably Huntera just show up to the mid lane, make sure that Seiken is not going to be ganked, as Joko is, of course, missing on the map, but could be a play in the top side. No
like
vision in that Tri-Brush. We already discussed about trying to set Cabochard behind if you possibly can. You have a setup with the 6. There could be an angle, and Joko might look, or more or less might just be covering, doesn't want to force the play.
I mean, the interesting thing we haven't really talked about, I know you mentioned this before with Bard, is what it does is that KC have this opportunity where, similar to Memento playing the Zac for Mirage yesterday, you have these angles that people aren't used to seeing because of that magical journey. So I do have my eyes on Huntera to see what kind of angles, what kind of setups he's going to be able to find, because I think that's going to be really crucial for setting up picks, which I think is a lot more of what KC wants to do, like we mentioned in draft. Not exactly the usual front-to-back tanks in the front team fight style composition here, so I think a lot will be on Huntera to set this up.
All right. Cosmic Binding doesn't find its mark, but Steelback goes in.
Wow.
But he's able to zoom right back out. And, well, 1-1-3 now. Is he going to be in some trouble? Joko is on top of him, does land the Sonic Wave, but is not going to follow it up. Reckless is kind of zoning off the bot lane, but now Joko actually is going to have to flash over the wall like you mentioned. So going to be able to find some punish. Seiken was the first one to move, and now 1-1-3. He's like, yeah, that blue buff now. I want to move in for it.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 minutes in the making. I was just seeing the future, Joko. But actually, the timing from Scarlet ends up being really good, and it forces 1-1-3 out anyway. So it's another blue buff denied. Scarlet going to have an easier time keeping this mid wave farmed out, although the timing and the recall and the fact that he has to walk his way back does mean Seiken does get a turret played, and because of the poke damage he's going to be able to put out later, the damage coming through overall, I think that is something pretty nice for Seiken overall.
Yeah, the small window of timing gets the plate. Blue buff goes over, a couple creeps going to be missed, so he'll take it. Just a bit of pressure over for 1-1-3, but now into the top side right now. I think Keo realizes, well, I'm playing weak side. My whole team was just spotted out in the bot lane, and now it's the Rift Herald. This is going to be sighted here for Solary, and maybe a steal could potentially come through there for Scarlet. He charged up to Q, but not looking like he's going to be able to get it. So 1-1-3 lands it. We'll be able to grab the other neutral objective in what was a little bit of a late trade, but ultimately we'll be able to now have that Rift start working for some plates here at some time.
Yeah, and instead of making that play, like you said, Keo knows he's playing weak side. His teammates do need to help him out, as this is a bit of an awkward spot for the wave for him to deal with. Steelback is here. You have Joko, who, again, is going for the golems. He's like, sorry, buddy, Keo, I love you, but those golems, they're calling my name. I need to farm them, as at the end of the day, it's just going to be Keo, allowing him to get a little more aggressive so he can get that shove under the turret here. Now, another thing, can't really let Reckless close to a turret with those turret plates. We know how quickly Tristana's able to take those, so Azza and Steelback definitely need to watch their recalls.
Yeah, Steelback had shown on that ward up top. I mean, I'm sure Reckless would have started hammering away on that tower.
Yeah.
And Tristana shreds them. Like,
Sure
I mean,
does.
The 80 carry pool was pinched out quite a bit, of course, so Reckless is kind of, forced onto something that is below the S tier 80 carries that we currently have in the meta. But, I mean, that's not, completely underestimate what Tristana is capable of doing. A lot of burst, a lot of flexibility, being able to bounce around in fights, play your life quite well, and you are still considered a hyper carry, especially when you start getting some of those items, and as well with the range, with the levels too.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. Like, she at later levels is gonna end up having some of the highest ranges, especially if he ends up going the RFC. So that's something to look out for. And again, we have Huntera on this Bard. This could be an angle potentially, but it's looking like he doesn't actually want to force it. He just wants to show in lane. And with this Dragon coming up in the next couple of seconds, maybe that's for the best. We have both supports hitting that level 6, so we have these ultimates coming online for everybody across the map now. But with all this pressure on the bottom lane that Reckless and Huntera are exerting, you gotta imagine KC are gonna make their way over to pick up this Dragon.
Seiken with the package should be able to push out the mid wave. and now move over, see if they can start to work around the first dragon of the game. 1-1-3, already in position to do so. Could also look at dropping this rift right before they start to rotate over. So Seiken probably going to push out one more wave the best he possibly can. Steelback's going to be in a position here to start clearing out some of the vision with Joko. So Seiken might have to be a little bit careful.
Wow.
He's going to start losing a lot of health.
Oh my god.
No package. The package. So this might hurt them a tad bit here going into the dragon fight.
It's going to make it harder for K-Corp to be able to make the play. They're
Charm,
going.
there's the flash play onto 1-1-3. Heartbreaker out, and it's a great ultimate here. And the portal, the magical journey, will take them to safety. And KC still healthy enough to move back in here, as it looks like they're starting to take control around the dragon.
Oh, look at the minimap. Keo is walking his way down. Solary, all they need to do is, I guess it's just for the vision here. I think he wants to sit outside of vision to potentially threaten the fact that he could be walking down. They know how important the team fight ulti is there, so once he gets the all clear on them backing up, the steal could come through.
Cannon Barrage, it's available from Cabo Shard. 1500 HP, 1-1-3. I don't think he has an angle in, so it's going to be secured. They'll do the stare down once again here as we get it quite a bit on the day, but no kills coming through. Just another objective secured. Second dragon now here for Solary.
And K-Corp going to be in a similar position into LDLC in the last series that we just saw, in the fact that you're letting the enemy team stack a lot of these dragons, and maybe you're able to trade. In this case, K-Corp can't even do that, but ultimately, the Soul is such a powerful win con that teams get to play for. Allowing 2 kills to come through, or 2 dragons to come through here, is going to allow Solary overall to be in a really great position. They can play for the next dragon, and if they get that Mountain Soul point, like we see it time and time again. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's such a strong position to be in, Austin.
It is. I mean, you have to talk about it, because it is a lot about dragon stacking in the meta right now. There's really no harm in doing it at the moment, and you put a lot of pressure on your opponents to be able to come and respond to it. So definitely worth bringing up here again. KC might have to put a little bit more focus around it here in the future. Looks like the Cannon Barrage did come out here at one point or a time. I might have missed it, maybe to clear the wave. But either way, that is now going to put them in a spot where they're not going to have it for a little bit, which means that we probably will continue to see no fighting. So 12.5 minutes in, the gold lead, though, is actually about 1.7k in favor of KC. And that's mainly through their farm and a lot of the turret plates that were just taken down there in the bot side.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just have small incremental leads all over the map here. I mean, you're in a pretty good spot because of it. Yeah. I mean, you're seeing mythics come through on almost everybody on the side of KC. So they're in a position where if they wanted to fight, especially for the Rift Herald, which should be coming up in just over a minute's time, that's something they could look to do while they are still a bit stronger here. I mean, Trinity Force, especially for Cabo Shard, is a big one. Reckless is just going to be able to potentially take this turret on the next wave, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's going to be the first one. So that would be an insane amount of solo gold for this Tristana.
Yeah, it's interesting because we haven't talked about it, but I mean, this is what Caitlyn is known for, right? Taking all of the plates, but I mean, Reckless is able to do it safer, and it's, if you do fall behind, it's not like you're useless in the team fights. You still have an impactful ultimate. You still obviously do a lot of damage once you stack up the charge on someone. So will be able to grab that first turret gold here for himself, and has a sizable CS lead, already picking up the Kraken Slayer. Now the Zeal coming in here, so getting closer and closer to that second item, and you can see Azza not really going to be close to that first item. Should be able to pick that up. Maybe off the back, we'll have to see, but at the moment, Reckless is definitely going to be further ahead. Yeah,
and look at Reckless. He's moving up to the top side of the map like I thought. K-Corp are going to be going for this Herald. This is the perfect time for them to fight. Keo's in trouble.
He knows he's getting ganked here. They're going to try to clear out the wave with the ultimate, but he's going to be tagged up pretty heavily. Huntera tanking the wave beautifully. Very well done here for KC. 1-1-3.
Oh my god!
You got to dodge out. The heal comes in for Reckless just to make sure his jungler stays alive.
Dude, Scarlet, he's pretty good with these Right of the Arcanes, but unfortunately he can't close it out here, and Keo ends up getting doved and committing the ultimate, even if he's back in time to TP for this Rift Herald. You can't imagine Solary are going to be in the greatest position to go for it here, even though 113 is low, and actually backing off, it looks like.
Rift Herald's going to be started up. Joko might be able to secure this one. Of course, the first Rift did go over to KC, but now that they have a lot of players resetting, trying to spend all of that gold, means that it should be a free objective. No one really here to be able to contest it. 113 just went back to base, picks up the Merc Treads, and now you do have at least potential to be able to start working for turrets of your own, because no real towers are under threat of being taken down here, and you do want to open up the map quite a bit, especially now that Reckless is going to be able to start moving around as he's in the top side and can start hammering away on these tier 1s since there's no more plates available.
Yeah, it's just that much easier for Tristana to do that. And speaking of easy, Cabo Shard has just been having an easy game so far. He is up 50 50 CS on Keo on a gangplank. That is absolutely terrifying. He is going to be so strong in these later parts of the game, and that just means more pressure on Keo, more pressure on Steelback in these team fights so that they can play it front to back and make that space for Azza and Scarlet.
Well, playing to the top side does mean they're going to be late to the setup on the Dragon. You can see all the way down in the bottom of the mini-map there that at least a little bit of vision has been set up. A lot of control, a lot of members here from Solary to try and focus around that third Dragon. Mountain Soul, it is impactful without a doubt, but Reckless still hasn't reset, so might just walk his way all the way down. Might not really have an item to pick up. Huntera is just going to simply back down to make sure he's not going to be engaged on, but now KC starting to take a bit of control. We'll see if they can get in position and try to contest this Dragon.
Oh, they tried to make a play on Scarlet. Really good flashers going in.
Here's the return. That's a lot of damage. Look
really
at the nice on Terra. Oh, the sidestep does not matter. Ticks away with the ignite. Seiken going to eat a bit of damage as well with the ulti. Just about every shot there landing from Azza. So now, no support in play. Are they going to try and look? Couple seconds. Mountain now spawning.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They do have the package, even in the 4v5. There is an option, a play to be made. Cannon Barrage is also there. Solary, they can't be allowed to get this. Keo's here.
Keo sets up the engagement.
Nice.
Heartbreaker. He's able to escape the knockup. And now the Cannon Barrage comes down. It is going to force Solary over to the other side. Seiken with the package. Will he pull the trigger? Cannon Barrage now no longer available. It has run out and timed out. 3k HP. Solary are actually getting zoned off of this. The package is going to be used to zone them away. The Dragon resets a little bit though. 50 HP.
Oh,
and 1-1-3 secures it. Joko can't land the smite. Despite the 4v5, they're able to take the Dragon, and it's still only 1 kill apiece for both of these squads.
Even with Solary always managing to find these advantageous picks around Dragons, this time around, K-Corp, don't let it happen. Really nice of Seiken to be able to hold on to that package. And what does this mean? K-Corp slow the game down. And that's great for them because they're up 4,000 gold. They're happy to take this one nice and slow as they continue to farm to their late game scaling power. And the fact that Solary weren't able to get this soul point means this game has gotten a lot more difficult for them here. The fact is a lot of good playmaking is going to need to come out if they want to win the fights at these neutrals, because if it just comes to the size of each other's wallets, we already know K-Corp have it. It's going to come to the fact that also you have Gangplank, you have Tristada, and you have Corki on your team. So being ahead is pretty great.
It's a lot of scaling. A lot of scaling indeed. You can take a look at the chart and just how they've been able to grow that lead. And that's all through turret plates originally there before 14 minutes. After that, they've now been able to take down all of the tier 1s. And you still have no towers on the other side of the board. So the biggest fact about that is that these waves are not fully pushing out. You have to constantly catch them or you're losing gold and XP here. So it certainly does hurt you in the long run. But now we'll see KC group up a little bit here around the mid lane. Vision being set up, and that Rift Herald is about to expire. So we'll see if Joko tries to drop it here in the mid lane.
He might be forced to do so, but really, there's just no way it manages to actually get the charge here. Maybe he's looking for a play with the kick, but I think now he's just going to hope to clear this wave with the help of Azza. At least allow the charge to go through. They know they have no chance of being able to grab that turret.
I love it.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't believe we didn't even talk about that.
Oh, that's my favorite thing to do, but it doesn't matter because
double
now
charm.
they're going to be able to find the play. That is the charm. And well, it's Huntera, unfortunately, caught out again. Beautiful tempered fate to make sure the Rift Herald doesn't find any success.
No, honestly, really nice play. This is what I mean when I say Solary. They have to go for the playmaking here. Steelback has to go big. Keo has to go big. The problem is it isn't big enough because 300 gold for Karmine Corp support. Well, there's 600 for the 80 carry Reckless in the top lane.
Yeah, I'm getting throwbacks to Kennen Reckless from way back in the day where he would just split push with 80 Kennen and just completely go bonkers on the side lanes, taking away all of the towers. And that's really what he's been doing. He's been a part of like every single tower going down here so far, and he is juiced up. There's the second item. Now we have the rapid fire cannon, so the range growing with levels, now even going to be more effective with the second item completed. And you look at Azza, and you know, he's still so far behind working on that second one, going to be delayed quite a bit. And yeah, you're hurting at the moment as even the BF sword ends up coming in for the additional damage here. So KC, they're ready to fight, and we might not see one for about 2 minutes, but if anyone missteps, you can definitely bet they're going to look to try to at least punish the play.
And Reckless succeeding in his hostile takeover of Ragnar's company there, Booster Juice, with how strong he is this time in this game. About an item and ahead of Azza, as you said. And at this point, like, look at Cabochard, he's paying his respects. He knows the map is real dark, says, you know what? This wave is enough. I got a lot of gold on me. I'm doing good. You can see it. That is a really tiny number, but I want to say that is plus 54 CS.
You nailed it.
Oh, let's go. How does he do it?
How does he do it? Oh, man, who knows?
You can't teach it, Austin. That's all I know.
You just can't.
No, it's just untouchable. The other thing, too, is that we're 2 minutes away from any dragon coming up or any real neutral to fight for. I don't think anyone's going to start the Baron anytime soon. So Solary are in this tough position where they want to control this top side of the map in terms of vision because they know K-Corp have a priority in pretty much every lane. They know they can walk up and start the Baron when they please, and K-Corp are fine with this. Oh, you're kidding me.
Scarlet's here, and Reckless realizes very quickly, all right, that was not the right play. I think he was just like, man, I just want to hit a champion for once, you know what I mean? It's been a while since I've autoed anyone, but now how about a play from Steelback?
Oh, I
He's
like
going to be able
this.
to find 1-1-3. The Heartbreaker over the wall.
Oh, wait,
1-1-3
this is really
down.
big.
Azza secures the kill. Good punish in the jungle to be able to take down 1-1-3.
Man, Steelback has been coming up big with these charms, with these grand entrances, and they are impactful because what that means is no jungler for 22 seconds. I want to say you got to back your way up, but Reckless is sitting in the bush. If we get that Cosmic Binding from Huntera, that is plenty of time for that charge to come through and those 3 autos from Hail of Blaze to come out. So even though K-Corp are down the jungle, the dragon hasn't actually spawned. So right now, it's just a bit of extra gold in Solary's pocket, not enough pressure.
15 seconds away on that dragon. 1-1-3, not up, just coming out of spawn now. And he is going to hightail it over to what could be a really big mountain here. Would be the second one, just to make KC that much tankier, that much harder to kill. And at the moment, Joko is in the top side. I don't think they're going to try to make a play on the Baron, maybe more so on Cabochard, but again, he pays his respects. He realizes my team is on the Dragon. I don't have a lot of teammates around me. He completely backs away from that tier 1.
Yeah, really smart call. He manages to know. He knows the fact that, hey, guys, is anybody from Solary down there? They're like, no, now that you mentioned it, they aren't. He's like, yeah, okay, gotcha. And he just backs his way out. And this is tough because you hope that you can give up the Dragon for a play here. I think that's what's going through Joko's mind at the time, because realistically, there aren't any tanks on KC, even though the resistances are nice. They are percentage-based. If they're not building them, you can think to yourself, you know what, okay, what's one more Earth Dragon? Let's let them have it. Problem being, Austin, they got it uncontested, and KC will also get free farm over Joko's bottom side jungle, and that's just how this lead in gold is continuing to grow here, and Solary just keep them finding themselves deeper in the hole.
They sure do. 5,000 gold ahead. KC in a really strong position. They just need to find the angle, and I think a huge part of that is they don't really have a lot of engage unless Ontario can set up a big tempered fate. So they do need to kind of play these fights in a way where they're hiding back and they're waiting for Solary to pull the trigger first. But while that's happening, they are scaling. They're going to play this one nice and slow, and it really is Solary that feel like they're on a timer with some of the champions that they have to themselves. They have a lot of ways to be able to pull the trigger, and Steelback, I think, has been able to find those windows of opportunity.
Yeah.
But slowing things down quite a bit while they're just farming out the side lanes. I mean, it's not even just Reckless and Saken, but it's also Cabochard who is stacking the cloaks down there. He's got a lot more crit to deal with here, so he can land some big barrel combos, and they're going to deal out some damage.
Yeah, I don't want to think about what's going to happen to someone like Scarlet or Azza if those barrels crit, or God forbid Steelback. So they're going to have to be real careful about that one. And the situation Cabochard, all GP players want to be in, is starting to come true. K-Corp pretty much have control. Their pick of whatever neutral objective there is, forcing Solary to have to make the play into them. And Cabochard says, please don't mind if I do.
Dance around the mid lane. KC just waiting, and meanwhile, another
God.
tower goes down. Tower number 5, and there's still no towers on the other side right now, and that's so much gold that you're still missing out on, as you're going to see a couple of recalls come through on the map. Cabochard feels like he can keep on pushing here down in that bot lane. And yeah, you've basically gotten every single outer except for the tier 2 in the mid lane. So things are still going really well for KC. You're getting a lot of levels. Cabochard almost level 16, as he's now going to start putting some pressure on the inhibitor tower.
I mean, the saving grace for Solary is the fact that actually they haven't managed to hold that thought. Oh my God.
Yeah, dodgeball, baby.
Yeah.
Back in gym class, I guess, because that was one heck of a way to go down. I mean, I didn't really even blame him. There's nothing he could do. He got rooted up with the deadly flourish. And well, we saw the right of the Arcane and the ultimate with the curtain call come through, but now they're going to pull the trigger. No Reckless means that they're going to try to get something done on the Baron.
Yeah, it's one of the strongest members alive on Corp, and him being on the gray screen means this is their moment of opportunity. Keo, he sees them.
They want to pull the trigger. Steelback goes in. They follow it up with a call of the Forge God. Huntera, beautiful magical journey through the wall to make sure that he avoids the knockup from Keo, and now they're poked down enough and used quite a few of their ultimates, so they're not going to be able to go back for the Baron.
That's unfortunate. Really big pick, and one of Solary's best opportunity, but of course they did have to play for the turn. Okay, Tempered Fate is going to go wide, but I like that Huntera continues to look for these plays. It's going to be tough. You're probably not going to get another pick like that unless you get some nice setup coming through from somebody like Steelback. But I like that Solary are keeping it up here, and you can see how it starts, where I got to imagine it was something like the right of the Arcane, or you know what? I think it was the Q landing from
into
Scarlet.
The deadly flourish, yeah, and then finds him. Does buffer the jump, but it means that he's rooted as soon as he comes off of that jump, and they know exactly where he is. So very well done, and they layer all of the damage from afar. That is showing us, you know, what this composition is available to, or is able to do rather. But at the moment, still behind in so much gold. Steelback's going to try to walk up a little bit, just get some vision down here around the pit. Reckless is waiting, but now they know exactly where he is, as he's going to have to go and just pick up the top wave, but he's definitely playing it safe.
Yeah, I can't even put into words how quickly Steelback would die if he walked up to Reckless there. It was just 6 levels down. IE on this Tristana. Reckless is in a really strong position where even though he did get picked off earlier, he can afford to be a little more aggressive just because you have that rocket jump. And now Corp getting this vision on this top side of the map just to make sure Solary can't make any cheeky plays for this next dragon that's coming up. But I mean, they don't have much to worry about. You know it, Austin. I know it. Solary can't let this dragon go through. We're 35 seconds away from either team's soul point. And Solary, letting Corp stack anymore could be the beginning of the end.
I mean, that's just so many resistances that they're getting. And I agree. You can't let them continue to stack this. Would put them on soul point. The option is to try to threaten the Baron take maybe, because they are not in a position whatsoever as is going to the top lane. So it looks like they are willing to concede this. And yeah, this is going to be even more difficult to try to find these kills. They're just going to simply get the mid lane priority, maybe a little more. Keo is going to be locked down. They're going to follow it up. The Cosmic Binding connects. The damage is going to go.
Oh, they got him.
Tries to flash, but Cabashard gets the kill. And now with the pick, that will definitely be a dragon secured.
Super big pickoff coming through from Huntera. As you said, it was already Corp's dragon. It was just a formality. Well, some extra gold is going to mean there is no Baron to trade for it. Finally, Solary in the top lane might be able to go ahead and get their first turret of the game here for Azam. Surprise objective bounties aren't up just yet, Austin, but either way, Solary, they're in the blender right now. They are still in this position where they have a lot of burst damage. They have a lot of ways to blow people up, but that's all they really have going for them. And it actually makes it difficult to threaten that Baron take. They always have to play for the turn, and that means even in those opportunities where they get picks and try and go for it here, if Corp can just buy some time, that's really the only thing they have to do to force Solary to be like, okay, yeah, you got us.
Joko, you could just see it.
How does he always know?
He wants to make a play, and yeah, Cabashard just always just knowing when he needs to back away. Teammates off the map, pushes one more wave, and now we'll reset. Level 16 on that gangplank here. Seiken almost coming to level 16 as well, so a lot of really big power spikes in the levels about to take place here for us. And, I mean, this has been just a very calculated game where no risk has basically been taken from KC. A couple picks here and there, but it's always in trade of something on the map. So they're putting themselves in a better position. This goal lead's still roughly around about 6,000 to 5,000. So very much ahead. Just, again, don't really have too many windows to ever start the fight here, Beatdown, but it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening around this Baron that has been alive for quite a long time.
You know what I didn't know that we should really focus on, too, is the fact that I think part of what makes this pick for Reckless so good on the Tristana is the fact that what have we been seeing from Lee Sins all last week, the week before, and this week? It's those clutch kicks onto really mobile people. But when you look at Seiken, when you look at Reckless, they both have ways to be able to poke from a distance, stay away from Joko, and it's really impacted his ability to, well, playmake. That's why it's been on Steelback and Keo this entire time here. And unfortunately, with the position they're in, Joko, He's going to have to find a way, Austin. All the people with
somehow.
CC on Solary are going to have to make something happen. It's all about the playmaking here. We've seen inklings of it from Solary, but if they don't want to get rolled over by KC, it's going to have to happen, and it's going to have to be before that next dragon spawns.
Well, I promise you guys, the fight's going to happen eventually.
That's true.
And it might be here in the near future. They did just chunk out Joko,
There.
which means that he's not going to be able to reset, but I can't imagine they're looking to take a 50-50. They should be looking to take a turn. And, well, there's the information. They know the health on the Baron. They're going to start it up, but now they're going to back down. So might move in to clear out some of this vision. Meanwhile, Cabochard might look to get some damage here on the side lane again.
Okay, I think Scarlet knows that he has to go pick up this wave, so it should prevent Cabochard from being able to actually take the turret. Actually, with the recall from Steelback, maybe something can happen, but again, Cabochard, I think F has to be his biggest key on his keyboard because this man is always paying his respects.
He sure is. Oh, Azza's not paying his respects in 1-1-3. Will he be punished for it? No, Azza turns to play, needs to be blocked. Reckless uses the heal, Steelback gets ulted away. So he doesn't find the window. Look at the damage.
Oh.
Reckless has to flash, and he dodges.
He got him anyway.
He got him anyway. Level 16 Scarlet means he gets 5 shots with the right of the arcane. However, the kill on Reckless means that you break open the base and get the inhibitor.
Man, it's just that easy. Always the trades coming through from Karmine, Corp, and what does it mean? Solary, even when they make the right play, even when they make the good play, they're too far behind to really get the value from it. That means Cabochard, again, walks away right when he knows that the recalls are coming through, so he is never going to get punished by Solary. It's so hard to actually stay on top of this GP. Look at him, he's just walking all the way back, and because now Baron's not really an option anymore, we're a minute 30 from Dragon. This is K-Corp's soul, and Solary can't let it go.
Objective bounties on the table, if they do end up securing this dragon, would give them a little bit more gold in their pockets across the entire team. And setting up for it, they know how important this is. We might finally get our very first team fight here.
Right.
31 and a half minutes into this game. And, well, Azza's going to try to clear out mid a little bit. They're going to have the setup starting to get some of this vision down. Steelback stepping up to make sure that no one from KC can walk up unless they're together. But sooner or later, they're going to have to walk in. And Seiken waiting in base should be waiting to bring that package up for the fight.
Yeah, and I guess Solary don't realize that there is a small window where they can do something, but Seiken coming in with this package is going to make this team fight that much more impactful for K-Corp. We know it. This is how Corki is so good around these objectives because of it. But it's worth noting, no flash on Reckless. No flash on 1-1-3 because of the play we saw on the top side. That could very well come to fruition here, especially when you consider the long-range engage, the poke, and the fact that Joko might finally get a chance to get the kick we've been looking for, Austin.
Oh, looking for it. Getting into the river, it's going to be difficult.
Look at the poke.
Contera down.
Oh, here it comes.
Now the long-range engage, but in the back, Seiken's been able to stop the ultimate from Azza.
That's Reckless.
He will be a little bit isolated. The cannon barrage also was used. 1-1-3. Needs to be careful. Deadly flourish goes a little bit wide. And Joko doesn't feel confident enough to follow up there on the Sonic Wave. KC moving back in. The Dragon just about to be started here, but you got to deal with the supers in the base. But Keo does have TP.
He does. He is going to be able to clear the wave, but not before it takes this first turret. I think K-Corp are going to walk away from this Dragon. That's a good play coming through from Solary. It's the objective bounty. It's the extra gold. Realistically, I don't know if the Baron is really the play for KC just because Keo has teleport.
Joko!
Oh, they baited him.
He's getting shredded down, but he's able to live.
The teleport.
That's the ultimate. Steelback
Nice
going to
poke.
be caught up there with the ultimate from Bard. But can they get in? There's the poke. Magical Journey gets Ontera out, but will Solary try to look for the Baron?
That's the thing. You got a lot of good health bars here. Even Joko is healing up after smiting. He has the second charge. This is Solary's best chance, maybe, but because Reckless is back, they just have to let it go. But the threat of it is going to get the TP out of Seiken. So I think that is something to speak of if you're Solary. You get the Dragon, which is also stalling for time here. But, oh, God, it looks like K-Corp. They're just going to go ahead and start the Baron.
It's on vision, so they fully know that they are doing this. Joko
Let's see it.
is in a position where he might be able to steal this down. KC, are they going to get impatient and try to put this?
That's a lot of damage.
Long-range engage. The Xerath putting in the work. The right of the arcane will hit the mark on Seiken.
Curtain call!
Follow up. There's the ultimate that comes through, and they have taken down one. Seiken is out of the fight. Low health bars here for the side of KC, and now caught out.
They got him.
It's going to be on Terra. They are going to lose a second. Solary, they could look for more.
They're going to get it.
That's the play from Azza as he takes down 1-1-3. No jungle means that it should be a Baron.
And it's easy. Scarlet can recall, hold onto the base. Make sure the supers don't do the work they need to do. This is Solary's way back into the game, Austin. They win the fight. They get the picks, and if they can get this Baron, they have a way back into this game.
Oh, Reckless and Calvashard, they're talking between each other, but I don't think they're going to go for it. There's no real way in. That Baron is most certainly going to go down. That goalie that was at 1.6K has now just been cut down to under 2. Solary, they might be low on towers, but now they should be able to take down a ton here as long as they set up correctly, coming back out on the map with the Baron.
And we're going to get a replay of how this one turns out. Already low health bars from what happened before, and it's the long-range damage from the right of the Arcane. Asa knows it's time to open the curtains and close them onto Seiken. A lot of the DPS taken out of this fight, and Corp have to run with their tail between their legs. Huge plays coming from all of Solary, and again, it just buys them time. It closes this gold lead, and now they have a real chance at securing this Dragon Soul in a couple of minutes. Austin, Solary might be mounting the comeback.
Oh, a game that I didn't think they could come back from, but I mean, KC weren't really pushing their advantage, and it comes back to not really being able to find ways to get on top of the backline, especially when they're just firing from so far away with the curtain call, the right of the Arcane. It is from a mile away, and unless you have a Tempered Fate available enough to stop it, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot about it. So there's 2 towers going down, finally getting more gold here in the pockets of Solary. Now we're also going to have Calvashard in the top side, just trying to do what he can to put some pressure on the side lanes.
Man, what a game we have, Austin. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
He's out of range, but Calvashard, that's a crit and a half right there. Oh, the Temper Fate, it's only going to find 1. Joko in some trouble, but he safeguards away.
Oh, nice kick.
Is going to hit 3, and that's going to slow
they're
down.
They're
Here's
stuck.
the turn. Here we go with the curtain call once again. That's 113, trying to take up the damage, but now he is low. Blast going over the wall. Everybody somehow survives.
Man, that was Corp's best chance more than likely, and I was just going to talk about how, well, it's not as easy for them to fight, even with the leads that they have. They don't have the front to back like I was highlighting. It is about Huntera. It is about Calvashard to see what they can do from range. It's especially with those Tempered Fates. It almost looked like something there, Austin, but it wasn't able to come through, and now we're getting really close to Dragon number 4. No matter who picks it up, it is going to be the Mountain Soul, and that is going to be one of the deciding factors. And let's just take a second to look at the damage. Scarlet on his signature Xerath pick. This dude has been doing work. He's got 4 items. He has the death cap, and he's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's one word you could use.
Yeah.
He's gonna hurt all right. He's gonna be setting people out of here in a stretcher. And it's been rough. You can see it.
Oh, they're looking.
Joko,
oh, baby, let's see it.
No flash. That could be the big pick. And there it is. They are going to take down Calvashard, and we're 30 seconds away from the Mountain Soul.
Austin, this pick couldn't have come at a better time. Scarlet, again, with the wave clear, is going to recall and make sure Reckless doesn't have an easy time here. You can see the poke. Right of the Arcane is available. Reckless knows it. He's looking.
Let's see the fancy feet. Reckless dodges 3, 4. Last one. Oh, he gets hit by it. Flash by Scarlet. I was waiting, but he's not going to pull the trigger. And now Seiken forced to play topside. It's all about 1-1-3 and whether or not he can get into this pit, or even if they want to. They do have Onterra. They could use the Tempered Fate.
Look at this. They have double TP available for Solary, so they're keeping their solo laners on the top side of the map. If something breaks out, then they will join the fight. But look what they're doing. They're making it so that it can't happen.
Scarlet in a lot of trouble. Reckless flashes in. Could be the mid laner down, but no,
1 for 1.
Traded 1 for 1. Seiken could still make something happen.
Curtain call.
1-1-3. Can he get inside of the pit?
Oh, Joko
goes wide. Joko
he
kicks
flashes.
him away.
He gets the
he
soul.
makes the play. Kicking away 1-1-3 to take down the Mountain Soul. Big win here for Solary.
Solary have officially got their ticket back into this game, Austin. Big pickup for the Mountain Soul. Big pickup going 1 for 1 for the package play for the inhibitor, Austin. Guess what? That turret didn't even go down as Solary play defense and offense at the same time.
40 minutes into this game. We are not going to have a Baron on the map, but with 11 kills over to Solary, they are in a position where they can make something happen, and we get to see the play once again. Joko going massive for his team.
Yeah, and this is the big play. They pull out the Drake, and what that means is when Huntera goes for what Bard players go for, trying to stall it out with that Tempered Fate, it actually ends up going wide, and it misses Joko, who's immediately like, oh, you know what? let me come through here and make sure 113 can't be a part of this. It's the classic Lee Sin. You kick him away, flash back into the pit, and you secure it with the smite. Overall, really good play coming here from Solary, and this is really dangerous for K-Corp, even with even gold, even with the fact that K-Corp are up a little bit. The constant replenishing shield pretty much removes any of the poke damage that Seiken's able to put out, even some of the barrel damage from Cabochard. If they can hold back, they're going to get those mountain shields back and ready to go, and with all Solary have to fight and set up from long distances, K-Corp, they are going to start struggling.
Reckless gonna have to back away, realizing the play might be coming down to the bot side here. Cabochard backs up with them. They've been playing together for a lot of this game on the side lanes. But where is Solary going to go next? Are they going to try to make this push happen through the mid wave? Are they simply going to wait for the Baron to come up? That could be their angle. Remember, they can just honestly keep on waiting like they've been doing here at Beatdown. They have been able to use this long-range engage and make it impossible, but are they on to Reckless? There's two players down here. Reckless is going to have to be careful.
Oh, we're seeing the ping. Someone is coming through here, but it's looking like everyone is walking away. No one's actually going to do anything about it here. The big thing to play for now, it's going to be Baron in 1 minute's time. Bottom side, riddled with wards in favor of Solary. The opposite is true for K-Corp on the other side of the map. Now this is what I love. Joko and Steelback, a duo who's played together so long, they're looking for plays.
Oh, 113, he gets flashed.
He's
it's
done.
A big one from Steelback, right into the queue from Lee Sin. Jungler down, pick is good, but it's 55 seconds away from the Baron, but Reckless, he's gonna try to split push in the side lane.
Austin, Solari's dynamic duo does it again. They keep syncing up, they keep making plays, and they keep finding what they're looking for. It's gonna be the Baron. Keo is more than enough to make sure Reckless can't make it happen, but we're seeing a repeat. The 2-for-1.
Can they threaten the end? This could be a big upset, but we do see the TP coming through. Reckless dodging out, at least on the call of the Forge God. Does have to dodge a lot of this poke, has the Bloodthirster to be able to heal. 113, of course, still down. Can't really contest it. The barrel combo. Oh, it was really close, but Cabochard can't find the mark. They do get the
see ya.
That's not a portal you're going to be able to take in. Oh no, Cabochard too ends up dropping as he flashes over the wall. It's going horribly wrong. It's
my God.
Panic. Reckless is
more.
low. He dodges out, but now he's going to try to kite away. He does use the ultimate, buys himself some distance. He is going to have to play some dodgeball if I've ever seen it, and he can't dodge out on that. KC falling apart at 41 minutes.
That's 60 seconds on Reckless. They don't care about the bottom wave now. They know Seiken has to recall. They know he can't do anything on his own. And now it's the bottom lane of Solary who are pushing out this mid wave, looking for whatever opportunity they can. They can't end the game just yet, but Austin, they're getting really close. Solary are finding their way back in. It's constantly on this jungle support duo who are always finding these openings, always making these plays, and just ripping KC apart.
Ripping them apart. Oh, we've gone so far. 3 kills here for KC throughout 42 minutes, but they've had the lead. They were up 6K gold, 5K gold, somewhere around there at one point in time. I mean, objective bounties were absolutely active on the side of Solary, but now we're in this position where they have everything they need. They have the Baron, they have the Mountain Soul. Reckless, sure, he's coming back up, but here we go with the push. Let's see if they decide to go through the mid lane or not.
I think they're going to focus mid and bottom. The top wave is already stacking in their favor, and I think Keo just wants to be able to push this bottom wave a little more. It is still supers because Solary lost their inhibitor. Keo has TP when they need him, and they might need him soon. Austin Seiken is looking for the play. This package could save K-Corp's match.
They're running out of options.
Oh my God,
look for the punish. Reckless already chunked low, has the Bloodthirster, but now he's going to eat a bit of damage potentially. Oh,
he's
Reckless
gone.
is down!
That's it!
Scarlet has taken down the 80 carry on K-Corp, and now it's time to TP in. Will they look in the back line? Scarlet in some trouble. Seiken threatening kill potential.
Oh
meanwhile, Steelback is flashing forward. They're looking for the kills. This could be a second.
Seiken's recalling.
Antera will be A-okay for now, but Solary, they're looking for the game. Antera is down. The bot lane is no longer here, and now all they have to do is dive. Seiken has to pull the trigger. We'll be able to buy a bit of time, but it doesn't matter. Everyone is going to drop. It goes 43 minutes, but finally, Solary, they will find the Nexus.
They bring it back from the brink, Austin. They clutch it up, and Solary show us why they should be in the top team conversation.